What's up, everybody? Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY. Is always brought to you by Bet Parks and Central City Toyota. I'm headed over to Central City Toyota today after the show to try to get my car repaired from someone smashing the door. Got my oil change. We are live on a Wednesday morning. Spring is almost in the air. Not as cold out there, which makes me a lot happier coming into work. But joining us, as he does every Wednesday from blackgritty.com, it's Black Gritty. Black Gritty, good morning.
It's Black Gritty and Johnny in the morning.
Yep.
Good morning, sir.
Black Gritty.
Black Gritty.
So let me ask you a question. You set up your shot, and I like it a lot. And Black Gritty is actually going to help me with my in-home studio. I've purchased the equipment as per Black Gritty's recommendations. So check this out before we get into the sports. So I got it's a work table from Home Depot, and it's on wheels. I believe it's what you have.
Get that one.
I got it. It's on wheels. It's very well built. I like it, right? But I show up to the store yesterday. It's the last day I can pick it up. They hold it for a week, right? So I'm like, all right. So I'm trying to race to pick that up, and then I got to pick up my daughter at nursery school by 11:30, which I can't be late for. So I have I'm good. I have 15 minutes to spare. Nothing can go wrong though. So I go and I'm like, I'm here to pick up. And it's like, it looks like a desk on wheels, right? Like it doesn't have drawers or anything. It's a workbench, essentially.
So they had to put together for you.
So they wheel it out and I'm like, oh, I thought I was getting it in a box.
I got mine in boxes. That's what I said. They put yours together for you? Okay.
So I'm like happy because I'm a total loser and I probably wouldn't have been able to put it together. I would have struggled and my wife would have had the help. So I'm happy. I'm like, wow. But is this going to fit in my car? And then the guy's like, well, just wipe down the top of it when you get it home. And I'm like, okay, all right. And so I wheel it out and I'm like looking at it as I'm wheeling out. And then I get to my car. There's scratches all over this thing. There's dents. There's one big divot in there. The corners are all so this thing must have been put together and then returned. So that's how I got it. And by that point, I'm like, all right, I got to go pick up my daughter. So now I'm trying to jam it in the freaking car, which I managed to do it. I had to take all the kids' seats out to be able to put every seat down in my freaking car. I got it in. I got it home. I looked at it. I was unhappy. I texted with Home Depot. They're like, oh, you can return it. I'm like, yeah, that's just what I want to do. Drive 40 minutes to return it because I had to drive to get this thing. Anyway, so yes, I do have the desk. But my original question was, your shot it's all blacked out in the background. It's just the silhouette of Black Gritty, and then that's it. Is that by design?
Well, yeah, because this is a black box. My room's black. Everything's black. I even have a thing on my light that keeps less light from coming in. You see that? It turns down.
I see it.
So it's Gritty Nights, noir. It's more of it's a vibe. You know what I mean? Every time you watch all these guys on YouTube, they got all the bright lights, all that kind of stuff. So I'm in here like Gotham in Gotham City. Everything's blacked out around here.
So you do the opposite.
Big Dom, and yeah, I'm like Big Dom here, murdered out.
All right, there you go.
But yeah, the desk is a tank, so it's annoying that it has dents in it. Should have them give you a discount on it. But I had to put mine together myself. At least you got, and it's so big. How'd you get it down the stairs?
It's not downstairs. It's not downstairs yet. It's in the garage.
There you go.
Oh no, this thing and my wife's got a bad back, and I'm not going to ask her. So I don't want to put a hole in my wall because going down the basement, it's 4 steps, and then it's kind of like a landing, and I'm going to really have to maneuver that thing. I'm going to end up denting up the walls a little bit, but I'll need assistance from somebody out there.
Yeah, John, I can't wait for you to be dragging it down the step. Poof, poof.
I
each step on the way down.
I didn't try it.
Pivot.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, there you go. Well, Black Gritty, listen, we've been going through stages and periods since the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Then we had the parade, and we were happy with the parade. And then everybody's talking about the Eagles. Says, oh, the Eagles are great. Eagles are great. Oh, but Jalen Hurts still isn't great, right? So we had that period where we're just feasting on the idiots out there that are still not giving Jalen Hurts proper credit and still not giving the Eagles proper credit. We've now entered the Tush Push phase of the Eagles winning a Super Bowl. And I'm just telling you, people aren't handling this very well. People are not handling that the Eagles not only won a Super Bowl, they're not only everybody also realizes they're not going anywhere. It's one thing where it's oh, they won a Super Bowl, but they're really not that good of a team. Yeah. No, the Eagles are a good team and they have an unstoppable play And Black Gritty, it's called the Tush Push. Your thoughts?
One, it's not unstoppable. Two, if it was unstoppable, then everybody else should be learning how to do it. Telling me it's not a football play is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Like 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Remember when the forward pass was not football, when it was just dumb? That's how you sound talking about this one play. It's a QB sneak. You're going to take away QB sneaks? You're going to stop all forward progress? Because as soon as you hit a guy and he starts going backwards, they blow the whistle instantly. But you see guys get hit in a pile and get walked down 3 and 4 extra yards all the time. And I just don't understand why people are complaining that much about it. I saw Patrick Mahomes and those guys do ring around the rosy. You're telling me that's a football play? That looks so childish and weird, but this is what you want to die on? This deal you want to die on? So ban all QB sneaks then. I don't want to see another QB sneak in the history of football. Like, what are we doing? Every year we have the same conversation. Haven't they already voted on it? Like, what are we doing? They've already voted on it, so I don't get it. I'm upset.
Well, they actually decided that they weren't going to vote on it. Last year, they're like, no, there's no reason to do it because there's obviously not enough support. So the combine this week, and I know a lot of people out there think, oh, the combine, all they do there is they do the drills and they run. The first like 3 or 4 days of the combine where there's not drills, it's really where the GM, the coach, members of the organization go out there to network. Press conferences with NFL Network and interviews and everything else. And yeah, they get to them, guys running, guys throwing, but there's a lot of top picks that don't even work out at the combine anymore. So there's a lot of meetings and things like that. I think it's a productive week, but the stuff that goes on at the beginning of the week is actually kind of like the meat and potatoes. Like there's a steakhouse in Indianapolis where the combine is. I forget the name of it. But if you go there at midnight on like a Tuesday night, like right now, you'll see coaches and GMs all over the place, reporters, people getting hammered, guys trying to get information off the record. You know what I mean? Like it really is a networking event. But so the coaches all have a press conference. And the Eagles now being the biggest story and the biggest team in the NFL, of course, the Tush Push is being asked of every coach. Sean McDermott came out 2 days ago and there wasn't sound to it, but he had said that he's against the Tush Push. So he actually is now on record with video because he spoke yesterday. Here's Sean McDermott talking about the Tush Push live from the combine.
To me, there's always been an injury risk with that play, and I've expressed that opinion for the last couple of years or so when it really started to come into play the way it's being used, especially a year ago. So I just feel like players' safety and the health and safety of our players has to be at the top of our game, which it is. It's just that play to me has always been the way that the techniques that are used with that play to me have been potentially contrary to the health and safety of the.
All right. So, and by the way, the portion of this program brought to you by Glatt Hair Restoration, glatthairmm.com, 610-980-4000. So what he should just say, because this is really what everybody's saying is because. Well, why should they ban the Tush Push? Because I don't like it. Well, it's not fair. Well, why isn't it fair? Well, it's just not. Well, because it's not fair. That's not a football play. Why is it not a football play? Well, it's just not. It's a rugby play. Well, what do you know about rugby? Why is it a rugby play? Well, because it's a scrum, right? Like they don't actually have a real reason. Black Gritty, he just said it's an injury thing with him for the last couple of years. He's worried about the injuries. There haven't been injuries. There's no data to support that this play causes injuries. And one other thing that he said, he said that, well, and like he's insinuating that the rest of the league is starting to do it. He has the only team that does it other than the Eagles, and they don't do it. So what is he? Everything that he just said there is complete BS and makes no sense. He sounds like an idiot.
So it's not like the horse collar where there's just incident after incident of injuries, of season-ending injuries. Like, what are you talking about injuries? First of all, more so, do you not want to have your 6'8" quarterback getting hit on this play? It's still a QB sneak. Tom Brady did it for decades, literal decades, and he was one of the best at it. And again, sliding in between, getting hit, getting landed on, and it didn't take him out of his career. Now, again, when you say the pushing and the pulling, it's still a QB sneak. You're still a jumbo formation. You put the jumbo package in there and you try to run the ball. It's literally the same thing. There's human beings in a car crash on every single play. But this is what you're talking about for injuries. There hasn't been one injury. And even Chris Jones, they tried to line him up sideways in the Super Bowl and push him. That was so weird in itself. Like, why don't they get innovative? I just said the jumbo formation. Why don't you have a defensive jumbo formation where you take extra offensive linemen and put them in at the defensive tackle and try to push back? Do something like that to try to stop it. Like you said, McDermott runs it and it's not unstoppable. They got stopped. It's a football play. I just don't get it, other than, everybody hates us and we kind of care.
Yeah, we do care.
I don't get it.
No, we care. Let's not act like we don't care. And we love it. We love when people hate us, but we do care. All right, so Sean, that's Sean McDermott. Let's go to Raheem Morris, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Raheem Morris was asked about Tush Push, and he gave his opinion. Go ahead.
This has been illegal 3 years ago. No, the Tush Push play, I was never been a big fan. There's just no other play in our game where you can absolutely get behind somebody and push them, pull them off, do anything.
Well, Raheem, with all due respect, anytime that a receiver or a running back has the ball, you can actually do that. And it happens. Like when a running back gets the ball and 3 yards into the run, he stood up by a group of defensive linemen, and then the offensive linemen start pushing him, and they push forward, and they get an extra 2 or 3 yards. This happens all the time. It's just not done with the quarterback.
Yeah,
again,
you see it with
making stuff up, Black Gritty.
You see it with running backs when they're going down and you see somebody pull them up and then pull them away and then they get to run off. You know what I mean? Like you land on somebody's knee and you're still not down. You get to go run. Like I don't. And he laughed at the beginning trying to make it joke. They should have been 3 years ago. No, I'm just saying. Like, dude, say it with your chest. Find a reasonable, articulable reason to ban this play and say it. You can't keep saying these things. And it's so fugazi. You don't have a response. It's just weak and it's annoying. And they better not ban it, because even Eagles fans that don't like it, I'm like, what don't you like about it? It's boring. It's football. It's actually not guaranteed.
It's actually not boring. It's intriguing. It's intriguing that the Eagles are the only team that can do it, and no one else does it, and it's unstoppable.
Yes. And but when it does get stopped, when the I forget who it was, when the Panthers stopped it, it was like, oh buddy, and then they stopped it again. They stopped it 2 times. Now again, luck of the draw. They had bigger defensive tackles, whatever it was. But when it does get stopped, especially on the Eagles, it is amazing. Like you're like, oh wow, I can't believe, So I don't get it. You can't do it, so cry about it. And now they're out there at the combine doing it, and it's like I said, I just want one reasonable answer. Just say nobody else can do it besides them. It's not fair. Say that.
Yeah, no, like why isn't it fair? It's not. Okay, well, why isn't it fair? Well, it's not a football play. Well, why isn't it a football play? Well, it's not. It's the parent that just says, well, why don't you want me to do that? Because I don't want you to do it. Why? Because I said so. It's because I said so. We have 2 coaches saying because I said so. Oh, and by the way, Sean McDermott, if your freaking team could execute it the way that the Eagles do, you would have been playing them in the Super Bowl. You're the dummy that keeps allowing that play to be called and not working. So, and it actually worked for him a lot during the regular season.
And it did work for him a lot. And the Ravens run it. And it works for them. Like, it's just embarrassing. And it's even worse that Jordan Love it's not Jordan Love. It's LaFleur. It's really LaFleur. That's the one that just pushed that for the Packers. Like, dude, you have other things to worry about. That's what I'm talking about with these teams. If the Commanders would have done it, I'd be like, okay, bro, you're fine. Knock yourself out. You're in our division. You're a direct rival. But everybody else crying about it like they are, dude, we don't even play you. What are you worried about? And you're running to play yourself.
I can't get enough of it. Washington media and fans, they are besides themselves with the Eagles winning a Super Bowl because they're good now. Grant Paulson, who does radio and other stuff down in D.C., he had tweeted out, add Raheem Morris to the list of NFL head coaches that are against the Tush Push. So how many do you have now? 3? 4? Here's the thing. For everybody that thinks that this is going to get banned or it could get banned, it may. It's not going to be now. They need 24 teams to vote to ban it, which is not going to happen. Because Todd Bowles, actually, do we have Todd Bowles, Tyler? Todd Bowles, and I would think more NFL coaches are like this than Raheem Morris. And by the way, he's best friends with James Franklin. Explains a lot, by the way. Here's Todd Bowles talking about the Tush Push.
Rugby element, but at the same time, when a team gets something that they're good at, you got to learn how to stop it. I don't think the first thing you can do is try to take it out of the ball game. But that takes away the creativity of everybody trying to do everything else. So we gotta learn how to stop it. Until we learn how to stop it, I mean, they're gonna continue. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it. That's a man right there. That's a man.
And not only is that a man, that's a man that's confident. You know what he's sitting there saying? He's like, I beat the Eagles all the time, bro. I just don't let them get to 3rd and 2. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what Todd Bowles is looking at it. Like, play better defense, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Because whenever I play the Eagles, I don't be getting tush pushed all over the place. I have them putting on 3rd downs when they play me, brother, because I'm out here doing my job. That's the bravado. That's the vibe he's giving off. He had zero fear. Like, again, you're taking away the creativity. Do you want to take away the refrigerator Perry type play where the line's got linemen out here catching passes? It's
too big.
It's so fun and it's so.
It's not fair. You have to put. You have to put a weight limit on the running back. He can't be over a certain weight, otherwise it's unfair. Because it's not a football play.
Riot.
Yeah, there's no skill involved, as the president of the Packers said. Like when you hand the ball off to some slow fullback who just dives into the line. Oh yeah, there's a lot of skill involved in that. Shut up. All these people are ridiculous. Finally, Nick Sirianni yesterday called it insulting that he says we worked so hard on that play, the amount of coaching and fundamentals, how the players deal with it. I can't tell you how many times we've practiced it. We saw a team fail at it in the championship games. It's a skill our team has because our players, the way coaches coach it, we put so much time into it. The fact that people want to take it away because the Eagles are so good at it is a little unfair. And he called it almost insulting. Well, it is unfair, but don't take it as an insult, Nicky. Take it as the ultimate compliment. You know why? Because they're trying to take it away because they know that you guys are the best at it. And they're like, oh my God, what if we can't stop this? The Eagles are going to keep winning and winning and winning. This is what happens when you are the best team in the NFL. This is what happens when you're the best organization in the NFL. This is what happens when you look at this team and you're like, wow, like they're not going anywhere. They're going to try to stop you. And how do they stop you? Well, they're going to try to ban the best player, one of the best plays that you do. Take it as an absolute compliment because it means that they're scared to death of the Eagles, right? So at least these weak head coaches are.
And so for Nick Sirianni, the one thing I get on about, what a lot of people get on about, is that he doesn't have his own offense, like he doesn't have his own system, but this play is his baby. This is his creation. This is his form of dominance over the league. And what happened to all the people that said, well, we won't have to worry about the tush push anymore because Jason Kelce's going to be gone.
Oh,
and
dude, that was something. Oh, yeah. Only Kelce can run it.
That last offseason, that's all we heard. Well, the good thing the tush push is going to be over because they can't do it. So, again, he's right about them practicing it, teaching it, and having a new player come in and running it the same amount of perfection. So that is something they work on. If you want, just work at it. Do better. Do better. But Nick, that's Nick's baby. That's why he felt insulted. He's like, you talk about my child ugly? My child is beautiful. My child's 96 percentile. You know what I mean? My child going to college free ride scholarship, D1. You know what I mean? So he's going to protect that thing at all costs.
All right. Howie Roseman spoke yesterday about paying a linebacker, among other subjects. We got that coming up. Also, a Travis Kelce update. Oh, poor Travi was sick for the Super Bowl. That's why he wasn't good. Oh, poor Travi. Also, a Hollywood producer thinks he's going to be a superstar on the silver screen after his playing days.
That's okay.
We'll talk about it. You're the perfect guy to talk about it. Tyler, by the way, more coaches are going to talk today about the tush push, so get ready to talk about tomorrow as well.
Yay!
Tyler's like banned, so I don't have to talk about it anymore.
Isn't it amazing? Like, think about the NFL. Like, all the franchises are worth like $300 billion or something, right? Like, it's just huge, freaking unbelievable, nonstop, like just freight train, and it's not. And we're talking about the tush push.
And the name. We're talking about it's so ridiculous. I wish Brotherly Shove took off because it is hilarious. So that's grown men just out here pushy tushies all day long.
Well, you have
about it.
And then you have like Greenberg that's like, wow, we got to talk about the tush push. Like it's this very serious subject. All right, it's awesome. Are the Eagles going to pay Zach Bond? Howie Roseman spoke about that and much more, and the Travis Kelce update It's coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Philly. All right, Bet Parks. I'm telling you, like, I am ready. I don't want to say too much on the air because I want to make it a surprise, but I'm gonna be headed to Parks here over the next few weeks here with the old lady doing a date night. Why not do a date night? Married guys do a date night, right? You got to pretend that you're not married and have problems and children and everything else. Parks Casino, all right, my casino of choice. All right, such amazing things going on right there from all the acts that they have. Larry the Cable Guy, May 16th. Second show added for Ron White. That's March 20th. Just a ton going on there. And they have the Excite Center, which has MMA and boxing, which I had not seen, but I've been to the Excite Center. It's an amazing, amazing venue. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Pennsylvania's #1 casino. Tickets are on sale right now for all the acts that we're mentioning, including a magician, Michael Carbonaro, and much more. Scotty McCreery is the big act coming March 7th from American Idol. And don't forget, dinner and drinks before the show at Parks Grill Steakhouse, Liberty Bell Gastropub and Beer Garden, or the Bamboo Noodle House. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You must be 21. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Glad Hair Restoration. You have more before and after. I didn't give you a fresh before and after today, Tyler, but the before and after. All right, so that's the newer one that I put out there. Look at that. Like, listen, that was taken after we got engaged. So that's 2013 or so, right? 2012, 2013. And like, I didn't have a beard. I didn't, shaved face or whatever. Look at the hairline. It's not bad. Hair's dark. Hairline's not bad, but it's receding. You can see that, right? So that's 12 years ago. What would my hair look like today if I didn't go to Glad Hair Restoration? What would it look like? Well, I'd probably have a shaved head, or I would have severe receding, or I'd be bald. And then you look at the after picture. It's me and my beautiful wife at her birthday. And look at the hair. And that's from a razor bar freshie too. So I'm not gonna lie and say that that's not a good haircut right there. But yeah, that's the after. And that's what it's about, right? Like, you can look at your hair today and be like, all right, well, it's not too bad. And that's what I did. And then I remember I got a new driver's license picture, and I looked at the old picture, and I'm like, Jesus, I've lost a lot of hair over the last couple of years, right? Like, what's it going to look like for the next driver's license picture? You know the answer to that, right? Glad Hair Restoration, most experience and most success when it comes to hair in Philly. It's all they do. Over 30 years of industry experience. I was up there yesterday, just talking and saying, like, all right, what's the latest stuff that you got going on? Because it's not just about hair restoration, which I had done. A lot of other options out there, including vitamin supplementation, non-invasive feature treatments like it's called TED. It's thinning, shedding, slows down the hair loss process. PRP and stem cell. We had some visitors in here before the show. We were talking about Glad Hair Restoration. If you're losing your hair and you're concerned, and you're like, you know what? I'd like to slow it down. I'd like to stop it. Maybe I'm even interested in hair restoration. Call and speak to them today. 610-980-4000. 610-980-4000. GladHairMM.com. GLATHairMM.com. You can also always reach out to me on social media or on email. John Marks Media, JONMARKS Media, on all socials and at gmail.com. I can answer any questions. I've documented everything that I had done with Glad Hair. And and I can send you pictures. I can even hand you off to the hair team over there. But call them, 610-980-4000, GladHairMM.com. Hooah! We are back. We're also going to debut a new segment, Black Gritty. Last segment of the show. Let me see. Hold on. The alliteration's good in it. I don't want to stumble. I want to be able to read it. It's called I never put it. Well, it's called the Steve Keeley. Let me see. The Steve Keeley Doom and Destruction Scroll. Excuse me. Steve Keeley Death, Doom, and Destruction Scroll. Do you know Steve Keeley?
I feel like I should know Steve Keeley.
He's the reporter of Fox 29 that doesn't sleep, because at 1 in the morning he could be tweeting out about somebody that he has to have somebody else that helps him with the social media. But anything that happens in Philadelphia, death, destruction, robberies, things like that, Keeley's got it within minutes. And he's got a tweet normally with video or pictures.
Yeah, I've heard that name because somebody said I'm like him because I'm always awake. That's where I know that name from. I don't know.
Tyler, you know why he's most notable, Steve Keeley?
I don't. I mean, I know who he is. I don't know why he's most notable.
Because he was reporting on a big snowstorm, and the plow got him with the snow.
Oh, is that who? That's Steve?
Okay. Wow.
Steve's a good dude.
Funny.
Like this isn't a rip of Steve. Steve's a good dude.
Yeah.
But he works hard. But man, I'm telling you, he is the best Twitter follower ever. So occasionally we'll highlight some of the stories, and we got a good one today with a video. That's coming up last segment. All right?
So he just gets sent out to the sad stories, is what you're saying?
I don't know if he gets sent out, but he's
got
just
all the
like
actionables.
if somebody's been murdered, he's on top of it. If there's been a robbery and someone's been shot, he's the first person tweeting about it with details, for sure.
He's the action guy.
Yeah, yes. Anything that's happening, if just look him up on Twitter. If you want to feel good about the city, don't follow him on Twitter. Anyway, so we'll do that coming up next segment. So Black Grady, before we get to the Howie stuff, because this is very important for Eagles fans. You know, Travis Kelce, listen, we know he's a big star with Taylor Swift and everything else. And by the way, like I don't dislike Travis Kelce. I'm fine with Travis Kelce. He seems like a really nice guy. Whatever. Like I'm not trying to hate on Travis Kelce like a lot of people do. Although, the whole thing's annoying for sure.
Yeah.
But their general manager spoke yesterday, as we were talking about earlier at the Combine. Everybody's talking. And he said that he was sick for the Super Bowl. We're never going to make excuses and talk about it, said Brett Veach. But he was battling a pretty big illness there before the Super Bowl. But listen, the way the Eagles played, it wouldn't have made a difference. Pretty big illness. Now, I remember half the Eagles having the flu the week of the Super Bowl because there was a lot of like, oh, my God, they'll never beat the Chiefs now. Jalen Carter, is he going to play? He's got the flu. Oh, my God. But, poor Travie. Yeah, he might have had sniffles or something like that. Pretty big illness there. Pretty big illness.
This bothers me the most because Jalen Carter wasn't at practice. And it was made a story every single day, the 3 days that he wasn't at practice, because he didn't want to get everybody else sick. I don't remember hearing anything about Kelce not being at practice. He looked fine on the podium. He looked fine at media day. He was out there. He had smiles on his face. He did the podcast with his brother. So what are you talking about?
Nolan Smith also had the flu.
Absolutely embarrassing.
If you remember.
Yeah. So again, you didn't miss any practices. You still did show with your brother. I don't want to hear it. And for a GM to say that, it's embarrassing. I know Travis is mortified hearing that. Like, come on, bro. What are we doing? Like, What are we doing? I don't want to hear that. Don't say that. Not on my behalf. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he could have already addressed it. He could have already said, like, listen, it didn't matter, but I wasn't. No, he didn't mention it. So why are you mentioning it? He's throwing.
Make me look soft.
It does, which he's not trying to do. They also spoke about is he playing or not. Blackguardy, Travis Kelce, 99.999999% is coming back and playing next year. He's not retiring. All this talk about him retiring, I'm sure he's close to retiring. You don't go out after a loss like that. And also, like, don't you? I feel like Kelce in his last year, even though he played out the whole thing of is he retiring, is he not retiring for his show that he had on. You remember? Yeah. I was featured in the show where he was crying, sitting in a dark room, crying, not sure whether he was going to play or not. And the voiceover of the scene was me saying, like, all right, Jason, listen, just let us know if you're playing or not. Like, I get it. You don't know if you want to play or whatever. So I'm like ripping him on the radio as he's deciding whether or not he wants to play. But like Travis is playing next year. So I don't believe for a second he's not playing. But you're going to hear a lot of people say now, oh, well, like Hollywood's calling. So does he not want to play? One Hollywood producer said that Jason Kelce is going to be a star once he stops playing football. He's got several acting credits, including on some show on FX. He also served as the executive producer on an independent film, which I didn't know. He said that this guy said that Kelce made a difference in the film. He's such a likable guy, and he's a good actor. I mean, he's proven that he's been in some good material, and he's a good producer. He's made a difference in our project. He's really good at generating attention and getting attention on a worthy project. There you go. So
why doesn't Conor McGregor fight anymore?
Because he would lose.
No, because he got $100 million payday.
No, that's
why he stopped fighting. Once you get paid, that's what Dana White's good at. He's like, I'll give you $5 million, $3 million. You'll keep getting hit in the face with that because you're going to burn that money real quick after fees and tax and everything like that. You gave him $100 million. He is never going back in that octagon ever again. And every time they try to bring it up, he's getting older and older. He's never going back. You gave Travis Kelce and his brother, forget being a star. He got $100 million for a podcast to sitting down doing what we're doing. He got $100 million, $50 million split. You still want to go out there on that field and get hit? He doesn't want to go to practice. He doesn't want to go to OTAs. He got 97 catches with no yak. He looks like Zach Ertz out there, and he doesn't have any production. So yeah, go out there one more year and get your brains bashed in while you're getting $100 million to sit and make jokes and eat popcorn with your brother. You're really hungry for it. It makes no sense. So come back for another year. You're 99.9%. I'm 99.9%. He's a moron, and he's the younger brother of a more excellent brother. And I love him too. He's fine. But he's the annoying little brother when you go hang out with your friends that has to just tag along. He's cornball city, and you just accept it because he's the little brother, and he's not a bad kid, but he's still a punk, okay? So go back and do the job again and be terrible at it again. Zach Ertz. That's what your career is right now. Zach Ertz.
Yeah,
he's like he's a great human being.
When Europe talks, sometimes when he talks, he's like Jamie Kennedy from whatever that movie was back in the day, and then other times he's not like that.
Yeah,
and also like the Taylor Swift factor, and I mean he's the one dating her, but that's got to be mentally exhausting. You play an entire football season, and now you're dating the most famous person in the world, essentially, right? Like the biggest pop star of all time, possibly. That's got to be mentally exhausting. So but let me ask you this, Black Ready, because I heard the same things about Gronk. Like, Gronk's going to go do movies or whatever. Gronk is such an idiot and like a lovable idiot. But what role is Travis Kelce going to – he's going to go star in serious roles? What's he going to be in Hallmark movies? What are we talking about here? Who's the comp for Travis Kelce? Like at least Fred Dryer had like a rough exterior when he became an actor. Right, I was a big fan of Hunter. I don't know if you were a fan of Hunter, but the old Rams linebacker Fred Dryer. So like, athletes can become actors. OJ was an actor, not a great actor, but he was Nordberg, right? You had who are some other ones that I'm trying to think of? Will Chamberlain was an actor.
Well, Will Chamberlain is great at anything he did in life.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but seriously, like. People are now making you believe, like, well, he may not play because he's got Hollywood waiting for him. What are you talking about? He's Hollywood waiting for him. He's not going to he's not going to be able to make a living by being a serious actor in movies. What are we talking about here?
So I don't know if this even makes sense. Gronk is stupid. Travis is dumb. They're not the same. They're not the same. Travis can read a script and articulate a script. I've seen him on Saturday Night Live. I've seen him improv. Again, he's not hilarious, but he's funny enough. He could do the job. In certain roles, I saw the FX show he was on. He was very creepy. They needed a creepy guy. He was really creepy. He was actually good at it. You give him small chunk of roles, yes. He's not going to carry a movie by any means. But again, getting paid $1 million to have 30 lines versus $12 million to get hit in the head over and over and over again for a full calendar year, yeah, he could go do that. And again, I just said his podcast makes $50 million. I don't care what you say. He's already making money in media more than he'll ever do in football if he continues to do it and gets onto another contract because he's young. His brothers, they're in every freaking commercial I turn on the television, Jace. I can't. It's just too much. They're everywhere. So, yes, he's going to make more money off the field. Wow. Go get it, Jay. Go get it. Go get it.
I actually think this is the most famous they'll ever be, and it can only go downhill from here. That's just me. Just me.
Look what his brother did. He's got a little Saturday night show or late night show and all the commercials.
You know anybody that actually has watched it?
People watch it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't hear it's very good. And I love Jason. Don't get me wrong.
Every time I see the clips, the crowds are full. I mean, I don't know.
Oh yeah, people go there for sure. Like I'm sure E-Rock's been to an episode or two.
I wonder if he has. I don't even watch their podcast, to be frank with you. I don't either.
That. I have no interest in it. No, I have no interest in it. All right, here's what I have interest in though, Black Goody. What the hell the Eagles are doing when it comes to free agency. And Howie spoke yesterday, and some people read into what he's saying to be like, oh, I'm going to be disappointed. They're going to let everybody leave. Here's what I took what Howie said. He talked about patience and things like that. Here's the quote. It says, it may look different. Some of the moves that we may have to make here may not be what are necessarily on other people's minds. It's probably not going to look like maybe the conventional wisdom thinks it should look. I would just ask our fans to have patience throughout the offseason. The offseason doesn't stop in free agency. The offseason doesn't stop in the draft. And this is something we've done before. I remember yelling and screaming about, Howie, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Free agency. Then they traded for A.J. Brown, right? And then they had a great draft. So, but what this tells me is that don't expect a lot of movement out of the gate. And also, Milton Williams is probably gone. Josh Sweat's probably gone. Becton may be back. I don't know. Zach Bond. So they talked about Zach Bond. They're asking him about paying a linebacker. And he said, quote, to put us in a box and say we're not going to pay because we historically have not done that, part of what we do is evolve. We look at things and see how they're affecting the team, see how they're affecting the league, and our place in that. Yeah. So to say, well, you guys never pay linebackers doesn't mean they won't pay linebackers. I think they're bringing Zach Bond back. I don't think Zach Bond's going to price himself out of Philadelphia. But
he's going to be $10 million or less. I know people are talking crazy stuff. Or franchise tag. Who on God's green earth even thought of that as an option? When I heard that, my brain almost burnt out. I'm like, what are you talking about? I hate when I love players and I have to say things frankly because it sounds terrible. He has had a great season. You don't know if that's a one-hit wonder, and he doesn't want to go somewhere else and be in another system. This isn't his rookie year. He's been in the NFL, and no one else has put him in the position to play like he's playing. Yes, it's because of his ability, but it's because of his ability to understand the coaching, the scheme, and the system he's been placed in. So he's not going to run somewhere else who's going to offer him like $11 million. Because, again, you think that at his age he's going to get this $27 million contract? He is not. So he will be back, and he will be, quote-unquote, affordable. It's going to seem like a lot because we never pay linebackers. But he's not going to price himself out. You're absolutely correct about that.
Yeah, I think he's back. Because, I mean, honestly, he's more valuable in the Eagles than he is on another team. Because just the reasons you just said. We don't know what the hell he's going to look like on another team. Like, what's the scheme? What?
I know how he looks like on another team. Non-existent.
The backup. I mean, and listen, I think that he could be good on another team. But you go to a team that has a bad, like a defensive coordinator that doesn't know how to use him, and a scheme doesn't match what he does. The Eagles have only used Tyler's typing this to me up here. The Eagles have only used the franchise tag 5 times. Yeah, they don't use the franchise tag, and it was a mistake.
Why is it even a conversation?
Yep.
And guys, the franchise tag. Zach Berman was talking about this the other day. The franchise tag doesn't differentiate from off-ball linebackers and linebackers that are more edge rushers. Yeah. And so the volatility of the contracts of the percentage is way higher than what an off-ball linebacker would get. I think the number this year for what Zach Bond is like, it's like $27 million. They're not going to do that in a 1-year sample size.
Well, they're not.
And John, and BG, the 5 guys that they've franchise tagged over the years, Jeremiah Trotter in 2002, Corey Simon in 2005, LJ Smith in 2008, Michael Vick in 2011, and Deshaun Jackson was the last player the Eagles franchise tagged in 2012. They haven't used the franchise tag in over a decade.
And I don't think they actually used I think they just issued the tag and then they came to, because it's a negotiating tactic too. You could be like, okay, you can have this 1-year contract. That's what you get. You don't get anything else. Corey Simon was unhappy. That was a whole thing. Trot, they just released. They're like, all right, you're unhappy with the tag. All right, you're gone. Mistake by the Eagles. If LJ Smith put it on the franchise tag, that wasn't a good thing. LJ Smith making and at the time, who knows what franchise tag money was for a tight end, but still, LJ wasn't LJ was all right. It looked like he was carrying a loaf of bread around most of the time when he was
yeah. He has a few good plays, a few like amazing plays.
Yeah. All right. Well, coming back, I don't know if you heard the 76ers. Why is Joel Embiid still? They're like, yeah, well, he's unavailable for the next game. What are we doing? We're still doing this.
My lights to blue because Sixers magic.
I just don't understand what we're doing here with Embiid or what the 76ers are doing with Embiid. It's just weird. It's bizarre. Also, the Steve Keeley Death and Destruction doom scroll. We have a story that it's right up Steve Keeley's alley. That's coming up next. Philly. John Marks. PHLY. 2 and 2. We're back. Hooah. All right. Let's talk about Ace is the place. I was just talking about it a little while ago. Like, what do you do? Right? Like, what would I have done if I got the big boxes to put this workbench together, and like I don't even know what wrench or what screwdriver to use, right? And then you get the directions, right? Like you get the directions, you put it out, you read it, you're like, okay, this makes sense. And then you know, like that, to me, it's like you might as well be in Chinese when I see directions. So that's why I need Ace, because a wide range of residential maintenance, installation, and home repair services are available. Plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical, free estimates on equipment installation and replacement, emergency services, everything that's best suited for your home and for budget. Ace Hardware Home Services. Service you can trust. Satisfaction's guaranteed. They're going to make it right no matter what. Ace Hardware Home Services. The power of the Ace brand, striving to be the best, most trusted provider of home preservation services. So, you need something? They likely have a guy for that. I mentioned it. Plumbing, heating, cooling. Something goes wrong on the weekend, boom. Emergency services are available. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services to get your project started today. Ace Hardware Home Services. All right, let's talk about Rothman for a second. Yep, I'm actually, other than last Friday having a panic attack shortly before going on the air and thinking I was going to die, physically not doing too bad right now. And I gotta thank Rothman for a lot of that, because the last time that I had something going on that was like, man, something's not right. Like I got to get this fixed. And then you wait and you wait, you wait. And then it doesn't resolve itself, doesn't fix itself. So you say, you know what? Like, all right, I'm finally going to go to Rothman. It took over a year, went to Rothman in one single appointment. Like, yeah, you don't need an MRI. You can have a cortisone shot if you want. Like, I don't want a cortisone shot unless I need it. I can deal with it, right? And they wrote me a script for physical therapy. I had a frozen shoulder. Yep, frozen shoulder, and quickly taken care of with 6 weeks of physical therapy, discharged, feeling great. So if you're dealing with an injury, right? Let's say that you need a hip replacement, ankle replacement, elbow replacement, whatever it is. Yeah, Rothman, of course, right? But what if you're dealing with a nagging injury or something that you can live with, but it stops you from being active? It stops you from doing the things that you love. Springtime's coming up. Maybe it's after you golf. Maybe it's after you play whatever sport, basketball, and you don't do it anymore, right? Like that's the natural reaction to something is, well, if I play golf and my shoulder's killing me for the next 3 days, I'm probably not going to play golf as much. Rothman Orthopedics, specializing in orthopedics and you. Just like with me, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to live with a 6 or a 7 out of 10 pain. You don't have to live with a nagging injury. You can do the stuff that you love. Trust Rothman. RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY to make an appointment and to learn more. All over the area. I went to the Limerick location, urgent cares, walk-ins, PT, 30-plus convenient offices in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. There's one right there in your community. RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY. Do it. Get over there right now. Get on over there. All right. We are back with Black Gritty Wednesdays. Black Gritty from BlackGritty.com joins us, and he really is Black Gritty. Because look how, yeah, it can only see like 80% of your face. Everything else is just a silhouette, and it works very, very well. It's a nice look.
Well, I did turn my second light on because I do have a second light, but I turned it on. So yeah, I made myself brighter.
Not necessary. You look great.
So they can see me.
So before we have these things here, I have a daddy-daughter dance on Friday night with my 3-year-old. And
yay.
I've done the daddy-daughter dance through their dance class, where I actually have to do like a real dance, and I'm going to practice every weekend for. You never seen it?
No. I got to check that out. Okay, so you're out here dancing. Random question, because I meant to ask you earlier. So I shaved, right? And I saw that picture of you before and after. Has your youngest ever seen you without a beard yet?
No. No, I don't think I've been clean shaven since they've been born.
So it's like, you know how it is. Like I used to wear glasses. I remember when I got LASIK and I came home and my daughter just kept grabbing at my face because she's like, where are the glasses? And then I grew a beard. And then one day I shaved and she was like scared of me when I walked in the house. She's like, who is this man? So I was just thinking about like looking you clean shaved, like your kid, like if you shaved your face, your daughters would freak out. Like they'd be like, who is this person? Especially your youngest.
When was the last time you had a clean shaven face, Black Gritty?
Probably
years?
4 or 5 years ago.
I'm over
I
a
usually
decade.
take it down like this in the beginning of summer. Like when it starts springtime, I'll take it down one time and then start growing it back for the winter now. But like, yeah, I haven't had my ball just I look like a turtle. But I don't have anything on my face. I look like a turtle. It's bad.
But
My face is too round for not having some hair.
Well, my face, I'm just. I think the last time I shaved my face, I wasn't happy with the. When you get older, your skin gets a little bit looser. Yeah, you get the turkey neck or whatever. Was not happy about that. Tyler, when was the last time you had a clean shaven face? Because you always seem to have.
So I think it probably was when I was in college. Because when I was doing TV, like thinking about maybe being in TV in college, like student run TV, you had to shave.
Right.
And so I think it probably was in college, was probably the last time I didn't have any kind of facial hair. My issue is when I'm totally clean shaven, I look like I'm 17 again. Right. I look like a baby. And so having no facial hair whatsoever, I might get carded at the movies or carded at a bar again.
Well, especially if you try to go to an adult movie theater, you might, yeah.
Now I need both of y'all to shave. You know what I mean, I'm trying to have you shave, Johnny Marks, walk in the house and film the kids. I want to see the looks on their faces when you hit the. Like I said, my daughter ran out of the room. She was like, "Who is this man? What is going on?" Like,
well, even
if your kids have never seen it, it's amazing. It's
even
fun.
when I bring the hair down, and sometimes you do it a little bit closer than you would normally like to. My wife will comment like, "Yeah, that's too close." She does not like it. Honestly, what we need to do is we need to have a clean shave bet where we bet something that's organic, and we're like, all right, whoever loses has to shave all the way down. Go. There we go. And it would not. I would not be happy.
Like, give me all camera.
I have a question though, because this might change. Like, there needs to be weighted bets if this is the case. How, like, if you were to go clean shaven, if you guys were to go totally clean shaven, how long would it take you to get your beard back to looking like a beard and not looking like stubble or a mess on, peach fuzz on your face? Because it would take me probably like 2 or 3 weeks.
No, I was gonna say probably take me like 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like that's for everybody, unless you're
2
like,
weeks.
Yeah, like at least have something. Like it will start immediately. Like, is your hair blonde? Is that why it would come out not looking like you have hair for a while? You feel like, because mine's black, so it's. Okay,
correct.
So mine's definitely defined.
As I get older, my hair's gotten darker, but yes, my hair has always been lighter brown or blonde throughout my life.
Well, mine's white, so it doesn't matter. I'm getting my getting my hair cut.
I wish mine all went white. I got too many stragglers now. I wish it was just I want all gray. I want just a full
It's
gray
actually
beard.
It's better when you have more, because then it's not like patches of it. So like I'm not far away from being all white. Whatever, that's fine. But yeah, so with my 3-year-old, this is through her nursery school. So they're doing a daddy-daughter dance Friday night. And I really appreciate it because it's like $20. They could have gouged you. If they would have said 50, what am I going to say? No. So it's actually, because it's a church. So they're not trying to gouge you like the dance class would. They gouge on everything that they can. So anyway, so that's where I'll be on Friday night, 6 to 8. Shout out to everybody at CCV up there. All right, so Joel Embiid and the 76ers, they're still listing him like, and A, anybody cares. B, he's out for the game tonight, blah, 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 blah. Or he's questionable, blah, 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 blah. Does he not need surgery? I know he's supposedly got this new round of imaging or whatever. Like, what are we doing? Why are we even discussing this? Why is this even, I know they have to, the reporters have to report the news or whatever, but he's not going to play for the rest of the season. They're trying to lose games. Not put him out there flopping around where he's injured and he's a shell of himself. I just want them to go away. I wanted them to go away pretty much the last 5 years, man. I am just so Sixered out right now. I'm so Daryl Morey'd out. But yeah, I guess Joel Embiid conceivably could still play more this year.
This is why they're just a bad organization and a bad franchise. And you can go to the second round multiple times, and you can sell out, and you can have the most sellout games and all those things. Best winning percentage at home. All that stuff is getting burned to the ground now. No one cares. He's injured. He's injured. You're tanking. Just get him to surgery and have it go away. The fact that this is a conversation every other day that Nick Nurse has to deal with this, no wonder they're not playing for Nick Nurse. Because what is he supposed to do? He's probably in there yelling at the top of his lungs, but he doesn't have the arsenal that he needs to do anything. I think he's a pretty good coach. He was the first coach, and that I was happy about in almost a decade. So, I mean, my goodness. Now it's like, get him out of here. But then who are you going to bring in here that wants to deal with this? It's just embarrassing. shut him down, get the surgery, and now I'm hearing he might not even play all next year. So you can't even trade him. Daryl Morey, under the helm of Harris. This is all Harris's fault. Daryl Morey is a bad GM in general here, but the ownership is bad. Because the only reason Joel got that extension, it's not because Daryl Morey's a moron, it's because the owner wanted leverage over the city to build his new stadium. And the last thing he needed was Joel Embiid getting shut down or not being happy. So he told Daryl Morey what to do, and Daryl did it. Now Daryl's getting heat. Again, Daryl's a moron and an idiot, but it's not his fault. This is Josh Harris's bad ownership of this team. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, like at some point, you just have to point all the way upstairs and say, like, it kind of trickles down. I'll be curious to see how he does with Washington, because he's literally replacing the worst owner in all of sports in Daniel Snyder, and they get to the NFC Championship game the first year of him. So, like, I'll be curious to see, because he spends money. You know that you can tell the Commanders are his baby. He is so happy to own the Commanders. You may never see him at a Sixers game again, unless they're really good. Then he'll show up. The
thing I'm scared about is that he has Magic Johnson. Magic does not lose.
And a hell of a good quarterback. A hell of a good young quarterback. It looks really good.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Just lose. Just lose. Just lose.
Yeah, just lose.
Just lose. Just keep losing games. I'm not going to watch. If you get really bad and you put in really, really bad players, which they're starting to do, I probably will watch, because it'll take me back to the comfort days of the process, where you're watching, you know the players suck, you know they're not very good, but you like them. And you're like rooting for them because it's like, oh, this is an interesting story. They got a first-round draft pick for taking a contract on, and they released him. But hey, we have this guy that should be in the G League. This is awesome.
They had a meet and greet for the upper echelon of season ticket holders, like things I used to go to. And they had a player up there, no disrespect, that nobody knew. I forget who it was, Jared something or whatever. And 100 people get invited to this, and like half of them left. And it's like, this is what you're giving me on top of everything else? My scheduled meet and greet is with a third off the bench,
Henry Sims,
left on the bench player. Yeah, like they're just bad top to bottom. And I'm so glad I got out of my tickets this season. I could feel it in my fingers. I felt it in my bones. Now you can go, if you want to go watch a game just to get in the building or see another team play, $3 and you're in. The parking costs more.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. No, Tyler and I were talking about there was club level seats for $35 the other night.
Yeah. Insane. And to watch them get blown out by 50 points at some point. Like
they did lose. They were losing by 50 points at the time. Yeah. So you would have paid $35 plus fees, by the way, too. But still, like, you're getting into club level. It's still So, but $2 isn't bad. All right. Yeah. The Steve Keeley Death and Destruction Doom Scroll. All right. Steve Keeley, reporter for Fox 29. His second to last post he put up on Twitter is he's detailing Shalem Groover, charged with trying to shoot and kill Philly police officer last night. Booking photo here after Groover was charged by Larry Krasner with attempted murder, blah, 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 blah. And he always has the booking photo up, and the guy always looks guilty. There's not one picture that he ever puts up that people are like, no, you know what? I don't know, man. Maybe he didn't do it. Anyway, so do you have the video there? So have you noticed this? There's a lot of sinkholes in Philadelphia right now where streets are just collapsing. So this poor minivan, take a look at this. If you're only listening, there's a Chevy Traverse that at 12:52 yesterday, there's nobody in the vehicle, but a Ring camera picked it up. And this car just goes into a big hole in the street. It's like a huge hole.
That's like one of my random fears. Whenever I watch that, like, you've seen it where it takes over like a whole street, like a whole section. Because you got to remember, there's pipes and water running underneath us at all times, and something could just be burst and eroding the ground. Oh God, that's scary. That's crazy. I don't like seeing those things. Those things freak me out. I mean, good thing nobody's in the car, but what do you tell your insurance? Yeah, my car's in the sinkhole. What? Yeah, It just fell into the earth.
Does that is that one of the check marks when you go to the app to be like, what happened to your car? Accident, stolen, someone broke in, sinkhole,
earth swallowed my car.
Yeah.
Now the question is, does that become a random act of God? Because those things sometimes aren't covered.
It's a good
You
point.
know, they use
like
that
a
phrasing
flood.
a lot.
For instance, some sort of auto insurance, like if you get caught in a flood, it doesn't get covered. It's a good question. I'll tell you what. I'm going to be in handcuffs if a sinkhole swallows up my car and you don't pay for it. That's for sure. You think that I'm not getting paid if yep.
So the quickest way I can tell you this. I live on a corner lot, and I have like one of those little rivers that goes through the side of the property, and they've got like that little brick wall there, but there's a stream that goes, and there's a brick wall on one side and a brick wall on the other side. On the other side of it, it's just all woods, but on my side, it's just the corner lot, and then there's a stream. I can't tell you how many cars are driving, and they're either on their phone and they forget to turn, and they drive directly into the stream, and I just hear a horn going or somebody's out there screaming, and they're just stuck in the stream. And even getting the car out of the little stream and ratcheting it back out is insane, and the water's just flowing through the front of the car, through the engine. Happens at least once every 2 years, which to me is a lot. I've been here my whole life, so it's just crazy that like when stuff like that happens, because I'm sure insurance doesn't help you out there. Like, oh, you drove into a river? Like, what are you, an idiot?
It just makes me think of the scene in The Office where they're following the GPS and Michael Scott just drives them into the lake.
Yeah. Yep. Just like what happens here.
Yeah, I've been there before with the GPS literally taking me to a dead end. It's like, all right, this doesn't make a lot of sense.
Trying to kidnap you.
Yep. All right, are you on location tonight? Are the cheap seats on location tonight, Black Ready?
There's no cheap seats right now until
still.
I don't know. Till what do we have? Not the draft day or something.
So you guys take a little break. You're a lot like the players. Once the season's over, then you guys need a couple weeks off to regroup, rest, and everything else.
Unless Jalen Hurts, he's the only one out there working. Everybody else is out here doing interviews, throwing hometown parades. Slay was throwing a hometown parade, which I thought was cool.
You see that?
Yeah.
In Georgia, he's from I think not Stillwater. It's something like that in Georgia. Yeah, like he had a parade. He was in a convertible with his family, and he's just driving down the street, and everybody's out there celebrating him.
They gave him the key to the city. He cried. Did you know that he's never had alcohol in his life?
Yeah, I saw it.
That sounds insanely impossible to me.
He's had some green though. That was confirmed. He was asked if he's which is good.
Yeah. How do you never have you're not 16 and somebody says, "Hey, bro, have a shot," or nothing? I mean, sounds so wild to me.
It's surprising, and Slay was on a podcast that he said that. I forget what podcast he was on, but yeah, exactly. Like me and you, it's like I remember the first time I had a sip of alcohol. You remember the first time first time you do that. And by the way, shout out to everybody that's watching on TV. Tune in to All PHL or go to allphly.com to watch the rest of the show. Yeah, like you would just assume at some point he had a sip of beer, or at a college party he had a drink, right?
Champagne.
Nope.
But that's
nothing.
Again, wow.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's straight edge right there. Again, that's crazy to me. The green thing, I'm like, when somebody says they haven't smoked, I'm like, okay, maybe you don't like smoking. I get that. That's something different. But not having, there's so many opportunities just to have a drink.
Right. I mean, saying I've never been drunk or I've never whatever, but like, hey, man, listen, like Slay better be back next year too. That's something that's not being talked about a lot. Slay, we need Slay back next year
for the right price.
Well, you're not getting him 3 for $30 or anything like that, but yeah,
you know, people are chomping at the bit to get Cooper out there as a number 2 cornerback and have Quinyon slot to the 1.
Did you see that Delco Steve's naming his son Cooper after Cooper DeJean?
Yeah, we talked about that. That's the Cooper, the Jalen's. They are going to be out in force. Cooper should probably be number 1. Well,
it is. We did the Philly feud. Top 5 answers were on the board. Cooper was number 1. 90% of the people said Cooper. For every 10 babies that are born and named after Eagles, 9 will be Cooper or 8 will be Cooper. You'll get a Dom. You'll get a Jalen. You'll get a couple Nicks. We actually had some people saying Victoria for Vic Fangio. If you had a girl, Victoria.
Wow. Okay.
Not bad.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. That's good. I like that.
Getting
That's really
creative,
good.
right? Dominique
Yeah.
for Big Dom. I saw a couple people had said that out there.
Okay, you got the girls. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Saquon, a lot of Saquons, baby Saquons out there.
Now that's going to be the one you notice. That's going to be the one you notice. I'm sitting here. I'm 67 years old, and I flash by one of those high school graduation channels where they're like, Saquon Johnson, Saquon Markson. Like, I'm just like, whoa. What is going on?
Yeah.
Because you just don't hear that name. It's like when I hear LeBron, I'm like, oh, wow, you are a fan. Like,
it's clear where that came from. Yeah, Carson.
Yes.
You don't necessarily know that the kid was named after Carson Wentz, or you wouldn't think of it.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with Cooper. It'd be like, oh, Cooper, good name. With Saquon, it's like you're an Eagle. Your dad's an Eagle fan, huh? Saquon
Michael
Barkley,
B.
right.
Jordan. I'm sure your dad wasn't a Jordan fan. I'm sure he wasn't. You know what I mean? Oh, gosh. That's so crazy to think about.
All right. Well, are you going to bed now? Because I saw you were up at like 3 a.m. doing stuff.
Yeah, I might go back to sleep.
All right, go to sleep.
Stuff that I kind of got to do. But I'll probably
All right, go to sleep. Check him out, blackgritty.com. You'll be seeing him often.
And one pro tip. When you go to bring your desk downstairs, get some duct tape and tape a heavy blanket or a comforter on top of it, and then tape it to it. So that way, if you hit the corners, it's padded around the top of the thing.
So the idea is not to show the desk at all. The view is like in your view right here. You're just seeing the microphone.
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends how you want to set it up. You want to set it up so you see the desk. I could do that.
No,
like sometimes
I like the closer shot. I actually like your shot. I love PHLY. I hate this right here. I hate the fact that I'm sitting with a laptop on my lap and I'm looking into a camera. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else I don't think there's anything. A shot that I could have that I would hate more than this. I do. I like the fact that you don't even have to look into the camera. If you want to, you can for effect, but like it looks normal if you're not looking into the camera. Like where the screen is right now with you, because I feel like I want to look at you when I'm talking to you, but I'm looking off camera quite a bit, and it doesn't look normal, does it? No. Like Tyler, does this look normal? Does it look like that I'm not looking at the camera?
Well, I mean, I think the whole point of the setup is to feel relaxed and natural, and you don't have to like stare into the soul of the camera. But I get your point.
Yeah. I don't like those seats either. I'd rather have the desk like they have in the other studio. And the way my monitor is set up, my monitor is right here. So like right now I'm looking at you like dead on. Like I'm looking at the chat. That's me looking at the chat. That's me looking at you. And then this is what I do most of the time because my peripheral still sees the screen right here.
All right. I will shout out to everybody.
Yours will be right in the middle.
Yeah, I'm headed up to Central City Toyota to get my car fixed and oil changed.
Uncle Jamie, I said hi.
I will. I'll tell him you said hi. We're back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Shout out to everybody watching live on YouTube, as always, every morning. Appreciate you. But, of course, you can watch whenever you want to. Just follow and subscribe and comment and like PHLY. Boom, boom, boom. Smash the subscribe button. We're growing. Tyler keeps track of this. We're gaining subscribers left and right. So subscribe, and you get to see all this great content right here on PHLY. We're back tomorrow live at 8 a.m. Click on over and check out Anthony. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.